All right, Omar. Thank you for being here in the studio on the pod. We got 3 questions to start off the interview, all rapid fire. So, first thing that comes to your mind, give the answer, and then we'll go like that. All right. So, you are all over YouTube, you are all over social media. People know your face. You are an influencer, but who is your favorite social media, quote unquote, influencer these days?
Dang, that's really good. The first few that come to mind, I really enjoyed Dr. Darius Daniels,
Me too.
phenomenal communicator.
Yep.
I love Myron Golden,
hmm
and I would say Alex Hermosi.
Okay. Love that list. When it comes to podcasts, we're in the Scott A. Kills production studio. On our pod, you have a podcast as well. What's your favorite podcast these days?
My favorite podcast these days, well, I watch a lot of YouTube, but when I think about a podcast I have been enjoying, it would be either like Diary of the CEO. And I know it's not necessarily a podcast, but it is, I guess. It would be like Jubilee.
Okay.
I love the Jubilee conversations.
Okay.
They kind of just, expose the human experience. And those are really good, yeah.
Okay. I like it. And lastly, I know you're a golfer. You spend a lot of time on the golf course. I haven't done that yet. I want to. Favorite place to play?
My favorite place to play golf, I guess right now would be Sand Hollow in St. George.
Okay.
I like golfing in St. George so much that I bought an investment property out there and just said, it's an Airbnb, but we're going to block off time though and go up. But dude, Vegas golf is pretty sweet too though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Omar, again, thank you for being here. Let's get into the episode. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Financial Seeds Podcast, where we believe that financial freedom is built one conversation at a time. I'm your host, JimDre Westbrook, and every week we are here to empower families to go from striving to thriving by having smart, practical money talks. Today's episode is going to be a special one. We're going to talk about generational wealth and how you can get that by taking one step at a time. Today's guest is, I'm telling y'all, you've probably seen him all over YouTube, heard his podcast. He is someone special, just not here in Las Vegas, but globally. I'm talking about the video department CEO, content creator, and probably one of the coolest dudes I know. I want y'all to give it up for Omar El-Takrori. Welcome to the pod, Omar.
Honor to be here, my dude.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
All right, y'all. So we're going to talk about generational wealth. I know you are, again, the best person that I think I know to talk about this. So let's just kind of set this whole thing up for everybody. When you hear the phrase generational wealth, what does that really mean to you?
Yeah, when I hear the word generational wealth, two things come to mind, and that is uh, passing down things that are not external things, internal things like values and virtues. And then I also think what comes to mind is that all the things I have, it's so much more than just for me.
Yep.
The here and now,
Mhm.
and so that's abundance. That's more than enough. That's plenty to take care of needs, and then the needs of my children's and then my children's children, and setting things up in place so that they're taken care of. Yeah.
I love it. Couldn't agree anymore. But I feel like a lot of families, especially that we see that are trying to get this financial literacy thing down, only think that it's money. So, how can you maybe help them see the virtues and the values and all the other stuff you're talking about to include that in generational wealth?
Yeah. I mean, something that everyone needs to go through is the concept that time is infinitely more valuable than money.
Mhm.
We were raised to believe, or we were told that time is money, that time is equal money.
Yeah.
That's why when you think about a purchase, a big purchase, usually you're thinking about how much time you have to work in order to make that purchase.
hmm
And that's simply because you were taught to think that way.
Yep.
even when you ask somebody, how much do you make? You know where they're at as far as how they view money when they say how much they get paid hourly
Yeah.
or how much they get paid salary.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody responds with hourly, they think at a level of time equals money. But the reason why time is infinitely more valuable than money is because if, if I asked you, I have $1 million, would you like it? The answer would probably be
Yeah.
yes. But if I said, if I give you this million, but you can't wake up tomorrow, will you take it?
Right.
So $1 million isn't even worth a day of your time. So this is why you have to get your understanding of even time, and that time is actually the only resource we don't have more of. You can't multiply.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only resource that once we lose, we can't get back. And so I think when you start going through or when you start journeying with money and you realize that money inherently doesn't have as much power as we tend to give it, um, then you could start prioritizing the right things. And so, something I want my daughter. I have a daughter who's 6, going to turn 7 in a couple weeks, and I have a son who's going to be 2 at the end of December. And something I want my daughter to know is that it's not abnormal for her parents to be home a lot. It's not abnormal that we get to do things that we decide to do, that we aren't pulled into certain directions, or we don't fall in line with just whatever the status quo is,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody has their own callings and convictions. But this is just something I've gotten, we attend the same church.
Yep.
And one of my favorite things about churches is having access to generational wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
men and women that are decades and decades older than us. And
Yep.
I started to hear like a pattern that many people tend to work their life or work so hard that by the time their kids are old enough to, move out is when they have the time to hang out.
Yeah.
And that is a wrong view of time and money,
Mm-hmm.
because you think the accumulation of money is going to allow for the time to spend. And really it's actually prioritizing time first.
Yep.
And then when you start doing that, things start happening. And dude, it's funny. I got like a funny story about losing $100,000. That is probably like the best money lesson I've ever had.
Hey, let's hear it.
Yeah. So, dude, you know me. I'm a good steward. I've been tithing
Yeah. Oh,
since
yeah.
20 years old.
Yeah, no
I've
doubt.
been giving offering. I love blessing people financially.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend. I had an extra $100,000 sitting, and I felt like I needed to multiply this, needed to put it somewhere.
Sure.
And then I was golfing with a friend, and he told me about this fund. He said, "Yo, my friend, I got this fund. It gives you 20% return in 6 months."
Mm.
And then I was like, "Sounds cool." And he's like, "I've gone through 3 rounds, and so I come in at the 4th round."
Mm.
You know, and me and my wife prayed about it, and we felt peace.
Sure.
And so sure enough, we sent that Hunsky.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 months rolls around, and then the facilitator of the fund just no longer answers emails. There's like 300 and something, investors just ghosted. And I learned a lesson at $100,000, and it was this. The lesson I learned after losing $100,000 was $100,000 isn't a lot of money.
Mm.
So we're out 100K.
Sure.
It's been 4 months. We haven't had it.
Mm-hmm.
Food on the table.
Yeah.
Mortgage still paid. Still got a pulse.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, $100,000 is nothing.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I started realizing that money is as low as the chair we're sitting on. Like it's literally just a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can use the tool to buy back time in any capacity, that you are going to experience a full life. And I find that because people think in a way of like time is money, you think everything's costing you money when really it's costing you time.
Yeah.
And so the example I like bringing up is most people should pay to have their houses cleaned.
Yeah, I agree.
Because how many fights do we get in with our spouses about the house not being clean? Now, how about this? If you just pay the cleaner, who will do a better job than you ever would.
Yeah.
And you use that time to just lock eyes in with your spouse
Mm-hmm.
and appreciate each other.
Yeah.
How many people benefit from you buying back that time? The person's business is blessed who's actually maybe called to do this with, they built out this business. Like our cleaner, she's phenomenal. It blesses my wife,
Yeah.
blesses my kids. I'm not stressed. So now like worry and like wait. No, we get to experience each other because we just bought back that time.
Yeah.
And I even see the biblical principle in it. It's in Ephesians. It says, redeem the time for the days are evil. And redeem means to buy back.
Mhm.
And the reason why it feels like a curse, it feels like a grind, it feels like you're going against the wind is because you're trying to do it all yourself and you're trying to fill all the time with everything. So
Yeah.
let's put a bow on this and just say when it really comes down to generational wealth, it's knowing that my kids and my kids' kids know that uh, we don't serve money.
Mhm.
And it's that time is infinitely more valuable than money.
Yeah. That's good. Oh, that's good. I love that. And I'm hoping that the viewers out there are just loving everything that you said, just being super intentional,
Yeah.
right? I think culture has us thinking that, yeah, time is money and I got to get mine and the hustle and the bustle. But like, that's not generational wealth. The things that you're talking about, passing on to Russell, passing on to Ruby, is way more valuable than the 100,000 that you lost.
Right.
Like, you can get that back, and I'm sure
Exactly.
we're going to talk about how you've gotten that back times 10
Sure.
by buying back that time,
100.
doing things that honor your wife, honor your family. When you were talking about that, that reminds me of me not blowing the leaves and doing the maintenance and all that by us having someone take care of that so then we can kind of do the things that we want to do. So the message about buying back time for all the viewers out there, I really hope that you hear Omar's heart and you see that this is something all of us can do no matter how much money you got, right?
Dude, it's called TaskRabbit. It's called you the last time you went to IKEA and you got the furniture set and you tried to put it together yourself.
Yeah.
Like what you felt was like a curse. You felt, and then I just like look back to when we were young married, and which I still think we're young and married, but when we first got married,
Hmm.
like we did that. I mean, you do that. You
Yeah.
just, it's kind of survival instincts. But yeah, TaskRabbit is so good. You just get a person who knows how to hang TVs and they've been doing it all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
trust me. Like we do it. We use it. I know Tiff is a little handier than I am when it comes to stuff because she likes doing those type of projects. But I'm kind of like you, where it's like, let's have somebody who could actually, bless their business while we can bless each other just with that time and
Mhm.
doing something that we both enjoy.
Right.
So I love that point. Um, I want us to kind of pivot and talk about maybe some of the small realistic steps that families can start with. So, we deal with a lot of families when we're in the community that they just don't even know where to start, bro.
Mhm.
Like when it comes to building legacies, they don't understand the term building wealth. So, what's something very small and realistic that families can start with today?
Yeah. I think the pursuit of money mastery, it never ends.
Mm.
And you should know that being a student of how money works, I think is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
Because there's the season where you're learning how to create margin with your money. Because most people who are living paycheck to paycheck, usually they're just over leveraged. That you made decisions uh, unconsciously, and if I looked at your bank account, somebody asked me, I think this like a couple weeks ago, and they were like, if you were to walk a couple and you would just shepherd them through this, I would say, okay, uh, do you guys want the outcome of this first? Like, do you guys want to be financially free? If the answer is yes, let me see your bank statements.
Hmm.
Let's start there. Let's just start where the money is.
Sure.
Now, if they don't have a bank, that's a great place to start.
Yeah.
Is open up a checking and savings account. And I don't know why I didn't, dude, I just learned this 3 years ago. High yield savings accounts.
Oh yeah.
What are
Yeah.
we talking about? Like when we talk about letting your money have money babies,
Yeah.
like today,
Mhm.
you could start that with zero risk.
Mhm.
When I grew up, my mom always wanted me to put my money in a CD account, which
Sure.
was shout out to my mom. But then I was never able to touch that money.
Mhm.
And so although it was cool to see that, like, when I finally cashed it out, when I became a man, I had a little bit more than I put in, which is cool. But that is like, people need to see you need to see your $1 make 4 cents.
Yeah.
You just need to see it. Like, you did nothing and your money just made money.
Yep.
Because everything after that revelation, I like to call it game over.
Yeah.
And the way the wealthy become more wealthy is not that they're doing more. They're actually doing less.
Mhm.
They're just allowing their money to work for them.
Yep.
And so the pursuit of, and if you're listening or watching this, you're in the pursuit of money mastery, but you need to know that getting your money, honestly, away from you, and in this form, get it into a bank account. It's important to go look at your money occasionally. You don't want to just be surprised every time you look at your bank account.
Sure.
But when I say get your money away from you, is sometimes it creates a safety net when you are literally around it physically.
Mhm.
When you could see all the money you have, it creates a safety net, and that's how money masters you, and you no longer master money.
Mhm.
And so I always like to say, if not having money stresses you out, or if having or wanting more money stresses you out, the pursuit of it, if all that stresses you out, you are being controlled by money. Money is mastering you, friend,
Yeah.
not you mastering money. But when you put your money away, it actually is healthy because it's the void. Like,
Yep.
I like moving money outside of a checkings accounts and even like direct savings accounts to the point where I need to fill it back up, and it creates this sense of drive. And so I think the first part is to get a bank account,
Mhm.
and then there's the process of credit, learning credit.
Yep.
And one of the most powerful things that you have as an American is the ability to borrow money.
Mhm.
And when you understand that you don't need to use your own money to grow your money or to grow your skills or to grow your education, it it becomes a very unfair advantage. It feels like, what's this world that we live in? Um, but I understand why Dave Ramsey's famous and why Dave Ramsey is so needed, is because most people are terrible with money.
Mhm.
But Dave Ramsey no longer becomes a resource as soon as you understand how money works, because some would say this is like weird that I'll even say this, but you should leverage debt at some point.
Sure.
We all leverage debt
Sure.
you're leveraging debt when you buy a car.
Yep.
You're leveraging it.
Mhm.
You don't have to be cash poor when you get a car. You get to just literally drive the car off the lot with a down payment. That's leverage, friend.
Yeah.
You can also leverage a down payment, a 3% down payment on a home that
Mhm.
you don't need to fork over the whole cost of. And then in 5 to 10 years, you can make 25% equity on that house.
Yep.
It was such a life-changing event was when we sold our first home 5 years after owning it. $100,000 just hit our bank account. And I was like, what in the world? And we're talking about I was like, I've never seen this kind of money before.
Yeah.
That was a lot of zeros at the time. And I feel like something broke off me, because that was not something I saw my parents, talk about freely,
Mhm.
which like, making money, like, if money is just a tool, then talking about it should be fine.
Yep. Most definitely. And we always talk about here on the podcast where we just want to normalize financial literacy.
For
These
sure.
conversations.
Yeah,
I had no conversations growing up, like at all.
for sure.
It's taboo.
Because we were told it was rude to talk about money,
Yep.
but growing up, I find it would be rude for me to not talk about it.
I feel you. You have to. And that's why we have a podcast such as this where it's an important research. It's an important, excuse me, just tool. We
Yeah.
want to make sure that you guys understand the power that you have. And it starts with that knowledge. It
Yeah.
starts with that free game. Because, we're not charging anybody right now for this knowledge. So we want to make sure that you continue to tap in and continue to put you first so you can get all the things you want and use money the right way.
Yeah.
The Financial Seeds podcast is powered by Silver State Schools Credit Union. At Silver State Schools Credit Union, our focus is to provide excellent member service and financial solutions for life.
Las Vegas, it's time your groceries, rent, and bills start rewarding you with cash. With the 2% Cash Rewards credit card from Silver State Schools Credit Union, you'll earn on every purchase. Our home, vehicle, and personal loan rates are some of the most competitive in the industry. Plus, members enjoy mobile banking and video chat for secure face-to-face support. Anyone can join. Become a member today and discover why Silver State Schools Credit Union is banking done better.
So, let's talk about just kind of the role of, community, family, faith. Like, you just didn't get here, like this by yourself. Like, you've had to have, mentors. You've had to have people in your corner to play off the success that you currently have. So, what mentors, community, or collaboration, what role do they play in wealth building?
So good. Yeah, I mean, in so many ways, in every season, it's been the same thing. It's just the topic of conversation has changed. I think when I was a young adult and I got radically saved and I learned to trust God financially, that if God really has a hold of my heart, that means he has a hold of my pocketbook. And at the time I was making $250 a paycheck, which you look back at like, dude, a $25 tithe, bless it, Lord. That's chill. And so thankfully I started tithing at $250 a paycheck because I started at that level and I believed in the principle of the tithe and that the 10%, no matter the increase, that when I made the 100K in my, when we sold our house, it was a joy to tithe that 100K. And then it was even more a joy to give an offering. So I learned at a young age, being involved in the church and being involved in community, that the spirit of greed was broken off of me at a very young age because God had my heart, not the world or money, right? And then you start having the conversations of financial stewardship. And really, the number one thing we're asked to do with what we are given is to simply multiply it. That's it. Multiply your time, multiply your talents, multiply your treasures. And the story in the Bible about the talents, that everyone got a well done, good and faithful servant who just multiplied what they were given. The person that did nothing got a wicked and lazy. You are wicked and lazy for doing nothing with it. Not like, is it safe to say that it's wicked and lazy to just save money and not be in a high yield savings account?
Right.
I think we could say that's kind of wicked and lazy, knowing that, even after we're saying this, that you can just move the money into a high yield savings account and then it multiplies. It's honestly why I create content. I create content because it's an opportunity to multiply my time. I just checked that the last year we had 65 years of time spent on my channel in the last year.
Crazy.
That's called multiplication. I'm the same human being. I have the same limitations that everybody else has. But staying in the conversation of what to do and to plan and to prepare and to just to consider. And when God has a hold of your heart, you consider him with every purchase, usually, especially big ones. You consider him with investing, which is why I see how he used even that loss as an opportunity to show me something more. And so, like now, dude, I'm gonna say this might rub people the wrong way, but now if I don't have a 6 or 7 figure conversation every day, I didn't pick up the phone. I didn't talk to the right people. Like it actually is the culmination and the compound interest of having conversations like that, making money conversations, what to do with money conversations, how to spend money conversations, how to multiply money conversations, the overflow. So now the goal isn't to be surprised when I look at my bank account. We should have control of our money. But I would just say the key thing I would say is I guess the two things, it's knowing that what you have isn't yours. God gave it to you. So act as if that's the case. And then second, just normalizing the conversation.
Mhm. That's good. That's good. That's really deep, man. Because I know, you know, wealth without wisdom, just doesn't last, right?
Mhm.
And I feel a lot of folks, who aren't comfortable with money, aren't familiar with money, when they get it, the first thing they want to do is spend it irresponsibly.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about, these are things that can not only just change their lives, but set their family up for that generational wealth, for that generational success, and blessed abundant.
Yes.
Um, we can stay all night, but I know you're busy. I know we got to run. I do want to ask you one more thing, because we could almost, again,
Bro,
continue
I'm
to.
chilling. If this is the longest podcast you guys do, so be it. Let it be me, because I'm a yapper, bro. Like, I'm a
No,
freaking yapper.
it's all good. I do love what you said, and I would almost want to like break it down even more about having those money conversations,
Mm.
those six and
Yeah.
seven figure conversations. What I don't want people to think is that, you aren't worthy of having those high level 6 figure and 7 figure conversations. So if you could like break that down to the person
Yeah.
that is, only making $250 a week, how can they, put themselves
So good.
into having that type of conversation right now?
Yes. Number one is consuming content. There's no paywall per se. It's just trading your attention and time for consuming content. So when you can hear, it's like you're in the room right now,
Mhm.
and oh man, if I can just get a moment of Omar's time, you're getting it right now.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is who you are when you hear the game.
Mm.
This is the parable of the soil. Jesus said the seed goes out, and most of the time, 75% of the time, because of the worries of life or because you allowed something else to pluck the fruit of that seed or the development of it. But the person with a student's mindset and a student heart, and I say a disciple, I like to define a disciple as a student with no graduation.
Mhm. That's good.
That person can extract what they need from content, right? So I say number one, it's content itself. It's listening to podcasts, keeping the conversation going. There are books, best-selling books that are already proven by somebody else paying for it, that you sure can get something out of it, right?
Yep.
So what I'm saying is the power is in your hands. Don't be a victim and wait to be invited into a room. The
Mhm.
information's out there. Now there is something powerful, I believe, in investing in yourself. And we have been told that the first biggest investment in ourselves should be college. Now I went to UNLV and I got my degree, and I'm grateful for it. But when I got to see the value I got from investing in myself and skills by investing in what is called a mastermind, the return on that investment is so much more than any number I could put on. Like, the goal I would hope for anybody listening or watching is that you could come at the end of yourself and say, I'm recession proof. That no matter what the market does,
Mhm.
my job isn't at risk because I control what happens because of my skills.
Yeah.
Your ability to communicate, your ability to sell, your ability to add value to whatever space and place that you're in. Like, you got this role, and here we are, we're having a podcast.
Yeah.
That's adding value.
Yeah.
And when you become a person of inherent value and you learn how to add it, you become invaluable.
Mhm.
And then as a byproduct, you just tend to make more money. And then if you're not making more money, what will happen is your value will hit a lid. And then you will experience a level of frustration. And there's nothing wrong about where you're at or anything. It's just that the place that you're at has no longer, there's no place for you to grow.
Yeah.
And that has happened to me, I mean, a handful of times, that has led me to starting my own business. And because I was always, building other people's business. I had a, contract work, I was doing agency work, and over time, it was like, oh no, I think I could actually build my own thing because I started hitting lids. And so, man, getting in the room is so powerful. Dude, in the last, and I don't say this to brag. I say this because I'm actually blown away that this works. In the last 2 years, I've invested close to $300,000 in my own personal development. That's insane. Sounds insane.
Yeah.
But I told you after this, we're going to go to Boise, but I went to Boise like 2 months ago and I was able to ask a billionaire a question. I just only had 15 minutes with him and I asked him a question and I went home, we implemented it and we made 100 racks.
That's what's up.
So the investment, and by the way, to be in that room, it was $50,000. Would you trade $50,000 for 100,000? How many times did you make that trade?
All day.
All day. So, but what's crazy is I have that information and I have that insight forever. This is, I guess for some people, they're like, whoa, but it is that, and you could start at whatever level you're at. I'm saying start on the podcast, but if you feel drawn to a voice, if you feel drawn to a personality and it's like, man, I really could see myself in this person's world, you'll get so much more than the traditional route because traditional is another word for textbook. And in order to make a textbook, it just takes too long. So now you're learning dated information. And so all that to say, just being in the room and doing whatever you can to expose yourself to that stuff. Stop watching. The Netflix ain't paying you. That sports team you love isn't paying you. This sounds extreme, bro. I wanted to go to the Chris Brown concert. Like, I love Chris Brown, you know? I'm going to tell you why I didn't go. I didn't go to the Chris Brown concert because something weird in my head tells me I don't want to be in the crowd. Like, I'm not saying the crowd is an average collective group of average income earners who put this concert on a credit card. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But I am saying it's kind of just like it's a thing about me. I'm just like, I want to be the one on stage.
Sure.
And how do I get to be the one on stage if I'm the one in the crowd? The person on the stage isn't doing what the people in the crowd are doing. And so I say that from a illustration standpoint, that sports team does not care who you are. That whatever show you watch does not care where your life is going. And someone would call me intense, but it's hard to make a lot of money if you don't know a lot. And so I like to use my time to just learn. I do the YouTube University. I go home, I turn on YouTube TV, and I just learn. And it doesn't have to have, it doesn't always have to be money. It doesn't have to be content. Sometimes it's cars.
Yeah.
It's just how cars work. There's this guy, Mark Armstrong. Dude, he just buys busted supercars and he fixes them for like a fraction of the cost. And it's just interesting. I'm just interested. But it's just a commitment to learning as opposed to being entertained. And I don't know, I get to use money to be entertained with things that I want to do with time. And when I say that, I mean blessing people.
Sure.
You know, and so that's the entertainment I want to see in my life.
Yeah. And it's nothing wrong with that. When you talk about YouTube University, my dad watches YouTube all the time. And I love it because it's like, man, he's, 75 now, but still trying to learn these random things, which we always talk on the podcast, where we really want people to be a lifelong learner when it comes to everything in life, and definitely financial literacy.
The Financial Seeds podcast is powered by Silver State Schools Credit Union. At Silver State Schools Credit Union, our focus is to provide excellent member service and financial solutions for life.
A trusted, lasting relationship. That's what you get at Silver State Schools Credit Union. For over 70 years, we've put Nevadans first with personalized service, cutting-edge technology, and expert financial guidance. Managing daily expenses, planning for the future, navigating life's unexpected moments, our team will help you through it all. Anyone can join. Become a member today and discover why Silver State Schools Credit Union is banking done better.
All right, so before we wrap this thing up, I want to hear from you one last time, just kind of that nugget, that takeaway that you could give our families to start right now, not even, after the podcast. What could be that thing they could take away right now?
It's, I would say find a local church and give 10% of your income away. Start there. It's a great place to start. And by the way, why would I say that? Because everything we're talking about is rooted in biblical principles, and biblical principles yield promises. And it's very clear. God says, test me in this and see that I won't open up the floodgates of heaven and pour out my blessing on you. If that sounds like something you'd like, then give the tithe a shot and watch something happen. And I'm not saying you're going to wake up to a Rolex next to your bed, but I am saying that it's going to give you a supernatural perspective around your money, especially if you feel like your money's controlling you.
I love it. I love it. I want to do one thing before we get out of here, and we are now at our seeds of wisdom. Let's plant the seed for this week, and it's all about generational wealth isn't built in a moment, but it's built through momentum. So like Omar is saying, start right now, just a little bit. Start small, mustard seed, if you will. Stay consistent, and remember, wealth isn't just about what you leave behind, but it's about where you're building. And that's right here. So your faith can feel that. Your family can sustain that. And your actions today shape tomorrow's freedom. All right, I really, really appreciate everything that you said today. You are a blessing. You've been a blessing in our lives. Tiff and I, we appreciate just who you are as a person and who you've been to everybody who is watching and listening today. Thank you again. I know you got to get out of here and go to Boise, but the fact that you've made time for us today, we're better. We're blessed, and can't wait to continue to see you just bless us with more content, bless us with more, all of the things that I don't even know about. But again, brother, I really, really appreciate you being here today.
Bro, appreciate you for having me on. We could do a next season conversation on making money.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So, all right, y'all. That's it for today's episode. Before we get out of here, we want you to we want you to subscribe, share, and review this podcast. We see the comments, we see the likes, but please continue to keep those things coming in because we want to continue to give you this content. For all the social media folks out there, please follow us on all the social media accounts. And we want you to share this podcast with everyone you know. If you know someone out there that is frustrated with money and just, their relationship with it, this episode will bless them and their entire family. So please share this episode, and we cannot wait to see what you do with your money in the next season. Until next time, my name is JimDre. Continue to keep planting those seeds.
The Financial Seeds podcast is powered by Silver State Schools Credit Union. Hosted by JimDre Westbrook. Co-hosted by Brianna Chavez. Produced by Leandre Fox and created in the Scott A. Arkills production studio. The Financial Seeds podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as financial, legal, or tax advice. All opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Silver State Schools Credit Union. Listeners should consult with a qualified financial professional for advice specific to their individual situation.